Hey everyone, everybody is still sleeping. Today is moving day. We are going to move back to Wyoming today. Kind of bittersweet. I love it here. Um, but I was getting on here to answer some questions that people had for me. The first one was actually that they didn't quite understand the severity of my injury. So when I got hurt, I broke my neck, and it was C1, C2, and C3. And with those, the nerves that come out of your spinal cord up there is a lot of like what controls your breathing. And so a lot of people that you see that have real bad neck breaks, they usually are on um, they have a trach. They're usually on like a breathing tube, and their arms don't work usually. That's usually a quadriplegic accident or injury. But for me, I just kind of fractured them. I didn't really do too much damage to them, so that's good. The doctor actually said that if I would have landed any harder, I probably wouldn't have made it to the hospital. So I broke those, and I also broke several vertebrae in my back. And it was T6 that actually shattered, and pieces of the bone ended up in my spinal cord, and that's where my injury is at T6. Um, I also broke 11 ribs. So to go straight from surgery to rehab and doing therapies, I was doing physical therapy and getting myself transferring from the chair to the mat, and then doing stuff with my therapist on the mat and all of that. 11 broken ribs is kind of a rough start for sure. With my injury, I have things that I have to watch for. One of them is autonomic dysreflexia, which we just shortened to AD. But AD is when my body is not comfortable with something below my point of injury. So this could be anything like an ingrown toenail, or laying funny, my knee's hurting me or something. I can't feel that. So my body lets me know that there's something wrong. 90% of the time, when you're in AD, it's because you need to go to the bathroom. It's usually a bowel or bladder issue. So they say that the first thing you need to do when you start feeling like you're going into AD is to go to the bathroom. When you are going through AD, usually it is there's signs. So one of them is for your pulse to be really, really slow. Like your heart rate's real low, but your blood pressure is really high. And so what can happen with that is it can usually lead to like a seizure. It can lead to a stroke. So it's really important to pay attention to those signs. Usually I know that I'm going into AD when my chest gets this really funny feeling, like something's pushing on it. Usually I get this throbbing headache, and those usually just come out of nowhere. And let's see what else. My vision just kind of gets funny, and I start just feeling really sick. And so that's something that I really have to watch for with my injury. Another thing is orthostatic hypotension, which basically just means that my blood pressure gets low when I'm changing positions. So everybody has a little bit of it. When you stand up, your blood pressure is going to drop a little bit. The difference is my blood pressure drops so much that I can pass out. I don't have the muscle pumps in my legs to actually push the blood back up. So all of my blood just kind of sits down in the bottom of my legs when I'm standing up. So those are just kind of things that I have to watch for. And let's see what else about my injury. That's kind of it, really. I mean, I'm just paralyzed from about mid-chest down. I can feel a lot on my left side, can't really feel a whole lot on my right side. Um, but I do have lots of nerve pain throughout my body, which can be good. I try to look at it as it being good, like my nerves are trying to heal, there's messages firing. Um, I like to think that it's good news, but every spinal cord injury is different, and I want to definitely point that out because I started this channel so that I could help other people with the same type of injury. And I wanted them to know that, we're all going through these struggles. It's not just them. And also to just kind of share that you can live even though you're in a wheelchair. You can still do things. 2 weeks ago, I was branding calves. Like, there's still a lot of things that you can do in a wheelchair, and it's not a limitation. And it's really hard to kind of get over that. In fact, that kind of leads me into the next question that I had was, how am I feeling or doing with my accident? I'm only 6 months out, so it's frustrating, and it's easy to feel like you're a burden. Or my sister turned 21 this year, and she wanted to just kind of go check out some bars, and we went with her, and I couldn't. There were a lot of places that we couldn't be at because the tables were high, and I can't sit at high tables, or just little things like that. So it kind of sucks, but it's not. It is a limitation, but don't think that you're never going to be able to go do stuff like that. We just went to a different bar, and in that case, it's frustrating, but the people that are around you aren't sitting there thinking, ugh, I can't believe we have to go to a different bar because Kaylee can't fit in, or things like that. It's not that way. And the people that are around you want you to be just as happy as they're trying to be at that point. So that's just definitely something to consider. And that kind of goes back to that question of, how am I feeling? I do have some times where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. I'm just in the way. I'm not gonna lie, there are some really, really bad days, where things just aren't working right, and I get mad, and it's okay to be mad. And the thing that you have to do is make sure that that's not ruining your life. Don't let that be a part of your life, and don't let your anger and your own issues limit you to what you can do. My legs aren't working, but I have a wheelchair that's going to help me get where I need to be. And you still have a lot of independence, even if you're in a wheelchair. I can't reach things that are up high, or anything like that, but I can move around. I can actually drive. I'm waiting to try to get kind of a better vehicle that I can drive year round to get hand controls put in, but I can drive. And if I want to go to bed early, I don't have to wait for somebody to help put me to bed. I can just go to bed. Or if my caregiver at the time, whether it's my boyfriend or my mom or my dad, if they want to go to bed early, they can go to bed early, and I can stay up late. And I'm getting to the point now where I'm not afraid to be at home by myself for a little while. And there's definitely some struggles and some frustrations, and it's easy to kind of lash out. Am I mad? Yeah, I'm mad. I don't want to be in this position, and but the fact is I am in this position, And I can be mad about it, or I can figure out how to do the things that I like to do in a wheelchair. And complaining about it just isn't gonna fix it. You gotta just learn how to do things. And I got this new wheelchair, and I'm having to learn a lot of new things because it's a different wheelchair. And um, I was used to using one that was too small, and now I'm in this one, and it's like driving a limo. It's a lot bigger, it's a lot longer. Um, so I'm just kind of having to um, get used to the things that are thrown at me and to figure things out. And that's the whole thing, is it's a lot of just problem solving. And so yes, I am mad. I do get mad. Um, but I try not to let that ruin my life. So what was another question I had? I should have written these down. Oh, walking. I had somebody who had a little bit of an injury when she was younger, um, that limited her walking for a bit. The doctors had kind of told her what her limitations were going to be. Like, she's not going to be able to have kids, and she now has a 1-year-old. Like, she has defied all the odds, which is awesome. I When I first got hurt and I got out of surgery, my mom asked them right away, what are her chances of walking again? And they said 5 to 10% chance of me walking. And that kind of hit all of us a little bit hard. But I started doing a lot and trying to get things working. Though I don't have any function of my legs, I do have sensation, and I can feel when somebody's touching me, and that's a big deal. And so I became, they classify our injuries as Asia, like as on that is on an Asia scale. And so Asia A is like the worst off that you can be. You don't have any feeling of anything, you don't have any function. And that's where I started off at. While I was in the hospital, graduated to an Asia B, which means I can feel some things. And I have some control of other things that aren't really muscle related. It's kind of hard to explain, but I became Asia B, which I'm still on Asia B. But when I did that, my orthopedic doctor had told me that boosted my chances of walking up to 70% within the next 7 years. So I have a pretty good chance of walking again. And I had been getting pretty down, like I'm not ever gonna walk again, until somebody asked me that question. When I answered it for him, it kind of made me think, like, no, there's still hope. I have to keep that hopeful stuff in my mind. So anyway, I think that was all the questions that I had, and or that I had been asked. If there's any more, please let me know. I can let you know the answer, and I don't have to put it on here. I just wanted to follow up with some questions that I had asked. So I hope everybody has a good day, and we will see what kind of video I post next. Bye.